Elijah Cummings, remembered today as a giant of Congress, revered as a champion for civil rights and civility. His funeral brought together his family, former presidents, top politicians, and the people Cummings represented.
Like the prophet, our Elijah could call down fire from heaven, but he also prayed and worked for healing. He weathered storms and earthquakes, but never lost his faith.
People lined up before dawn to say farewell, to honor the son of South Carolina sharecroppers who rose to power in Washington.
He tried to treat everybody the way he wanted to be treated. You can't run a free society if you have to hate everybody you disagree with.
There's nothing weak about being honorable. You're not a sucker to have integrity and to treat others with respect.
Former Vice President Joe Biden appearing in public with former President Obama for the first time since announcing his 2020 presidential bid.
What did he mean to the people of Baltimore?
I think that he was that light in the darkness.
He inspired everybody, and so even if you didn't know him, you knew he got your back.
A legacy defined by loyalty, conviction, and kindness. Jeff Bennett, NBC News, Baltimore.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.